Okay, so this is just for Algebra 2. It's just for period 7. I've just finished grading your homework, and um, obviously we may not have time to go over these kind of things in class. So I'm gonna do it. I will try to start doing this, and hopefully it can help you guys with the homework. And when I was grading it, it's just like this one assignment people keep copying. Stop copying. You're not helping. All right. If we are talking about quadratic formula over here, this is what I'm looking into. This is what I'm looking at. Are you actually using the quadratic formula? And if your answer is somehow just some random number putting together, you're going to redo this. I mean, seriously. You're just going to redo it. You're going to resubmit again. So there's only like a few of you, 4 or 5, stop copying. And some other people, when I was grading it, I noticed that there's certain errors. Just we have to fix it. So quadratic formula by now, you should be able to remember this whole thing. X is equal to the negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac, this whole thing over 2a. All right. A couple of you remember this formula wrong. So when you do the assignment, I'll actually write it down. Be careful about this and that. Basically, this negative b was creating some problems, and I think one student actually remembered this as like 2ac or something like that. It's so you have to be careful about using the wrong formula, and you ended up with wrong results. So I'm not going to go over every single questions, but I'm going to go over like a couple of them that I think people may actually run into mistakes. So let's say question 16. Question 16 is this one. So the question was x squared plus 9x minus 2 equals negative 16. And I think a couple of you, just pick the A is 1, B is 9, and C is negative 2. Be careful about that. We can't just do a C is equal to negative 2 because I don't have 0 over here. Not until you get this 16, this negative 16, to the left-hand side of the equation, you cannot start using your quadratic formula. So you may want to do this first, doing the opposite of this, adding 16. So your answer or your equation, at least the equation we are going to start off with, is going to be x squared plus 9x 16 minus 2 plus 14 equal to 0. All right, so that's what you will get into after the very first step. Once you have this equation, you don't really care about the beginning questions. This is what you're focusing on. So for A is going to be equal to 1, and I've seen some really lovely work in the homework. People actually write this down. I'm very, very thankful for that. It makes my life a little bit easier. So C is equal to 14. All right, so if you write that down, I know you're using the A is equal to 1, B is equal to 9, C is equal to positive 14. Then I'm going to dive into my equation. So that's when we run into problems. Remember that the equation starts off with a negative b. So that negative is going to be there, 9 plus or minus. Don't skip this plus or minus. I think there's one student keeps skipping this plus or minus. It's really annoying. Don't skip that. B squared is going to be 9 squared, 81. 9 squared, 81. Minus. Keep this minus over there. It's always going to be a minus 4. My A is 1. My C is 14. Divided by 2 times A, which is 1. I don't know, I can't remember who did that. It was like you put like a 2AC or something like that. It was kind of bizarre. So negative 9 plus or minus, Okay, so quick math, 81 minus 4 times 14 is 16 at the end, 56, I do believe, over 2, right? So let's extend this page. Can you extend this page? Yes, good. So negative 9 plus or minus 81 minus 56 is going to be just a 25 over 2. 25 square root of 25 is going to be 5. Negative 9 plus or minus 5 over 2. As you can see, this gets like really lengthy. So the x, now you can break it down to the two parts. So negative 9 plus 5 divided by 2. So that's one part of it. That's taking care of the plus. And then we're going to do this as well, negative 9 minus 5 over 2. So that's negative 4 divided by 2, negative 2. Negative 9, negative 5, negative 14 divided by 2, negative 7. So with this whole thing going on, I would expect something like this. So if you give me a piece of paper with the question and then the answer over there, I'm returning it. I'm not going to deal with that. Okay, if you cannot turn in your assignment in about like a week's time, you're just going to get that 0. All right, anything I have to mention about? So it's actually, I'm looking to see all of this. All right, there could be calculation errors over there. We are not perfect. Ideally, you should be able to do 81 minus 56 without too much problem. And that's all for this question. Okay, so be careful about this beginning bit. You do have to move that negative 16 to the other side. Let's do another one. This one is a little bit more tricky because you have the x, you have that negative 1. I'm going to move everything. Like this has to go to the left, this has to go to the left. Not until you get that done, you don't have the general form or the standard form. Not until you have the standard form. Standard form basically means on the right hand side it's going to be equal to 0. Not until then you cannot do anything. So I'm going to add 5x both sides. That 5x has nowhere to go. I don't have x squared, I don't have a number. So 5x is going to be just kind of like in the middle of this. Alright, so I'm going to rewrite this. Don't want to confuse you. So after the first step, I just did the 5x. So 3x squared. I'm going to have that plus 5x. In the middle, I have that negative 3. That thing cross out, I have a negative 1. Alright, if you cannot do two steps in one go, then break it down. So now I'm going to move this plus 1, I'm going to plus 1, so they line up nicely together. And then have 3x squared plus 5x, negative 3 plus 1, negative 2, 0. Alright. So now, this is something I can work with. Not until you get this 0, not until you get that 0, you cannot pick the A, B, and C. So A is going to be 3, B is going to be 5, C is going to be negative 2, and then it's just plugging this whole thing in, negative 5 plus or minus, B squared is going to be 25, minus 4 times 3 times negative 2. Okay, if you write off this out, you actually, I wasn't even thinking, I was just looking at the A, B, and C. I'm plugging it in as I go along. So negative 5 plus or minus 25. And then we do have people having some issues over here. Let's find the highlighter. Let's do the yellow. This bit, you have to be careful because you do have negative 4 times 3 times negative 2. So -4, -2 is going to be a positive number. 2 negative is going to be positive. So after that, it's just 4 times 3 times 2, which is 12 times 2, 24. 2 times 3 is 6. I think this is going to be very nice. It's going to be -5 plus or minus 49 divided by 6. And then it's going to just break into 2 parts. After that, x is equal to -5 plus 7 divided by 6, and -5 minus 7 divided by 6. That's going to be 2 over 3. I mean 2 over 6. That is going to be -12 over 6. That will turn into -2. If you simplify that, it's going to be 1/3. Alright. And I think this video is going to be useful because on Wednesday, Tuesday, when I see you guys again, you're going to have a test on this. So if I see the same thing as like in the homework assignment, you're not going to get any points. Like really. This is not a very difficult procedure. You just have to keep track of your ABCs. So that's it. It's just for the Algebra 2 students. If you're watching it and you're not the Algebra 2 students, learn this. It's a very simple skill, quadratic equation. It's tedious, but it's not too bad. Okay, enough of this.